Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Bob. I got a message for you today. Um, my channel's name is Elephants of Plenty, and please subscribe if you like what you're hearing, and if you want to get notified, hit that bell button. Today, we're talking this month about like the biggest elephant in the room, and I know I've said this multiple times, but and it's true. And, I'm not averse or, I've been known to be, what's the word, somebody who indulges in hyperbole. Well, this is, I feel like, what was it, Johnny Carson or all the late night shows, they all say it. Even if it's the worst show of all, they'll say, we got a really great show for you tonight, right? I mean, that's just something they're going to say. Today we're going to talk about the resurrection, the greatest, maybe I can tell you a joke. I just thought of a joke, but I usually don't tell many jokes. If I have time, I'll save this. But, there's a million different ways we can study the resurrection. The resurrection is the single greatest event in the history of the world, okay? And what's going on out there? Basically, the people who are telling us not to believe and that there's a bunch of fake news out there, right? They're the ones that say the resurrection is fake news. But this is the single greatest event that ever occurred. Simon Greenleaf said you could prove the resurrection in any U.S. court using eyewitness testimony. So he was the royal law professor of Harvard. All right, I mean, and maybe I'll just do a whole video on that one point. But trying to cross the barrier of credibility here. Okay, and this is the man who built Harvard Law. All right. He said he could prove the resurrection, that's a shocking statement, in any U.S. court, that's a shocking statement, based on eyewitness testimony, another shocking statement. So that's what we got here today, is we're going to talk a little bit about the resurrection. It's something Easter comes along so fast and we're all working. We never even, this is the biggest event for Christians. It really is. It's right up there with Christmas. It's even bigger than Christmas. Christmas wouldn't be Christmas if it wasn't for the resurrection. All right. I'll go there and say that. Excuse me. I want to talk to you today. I want to bring to your attention two poems. Now, I love Emily Dickinson, all right? I'm not going to talk down about her, and I'm not going to talk down about myself. Maybe I'm not an English scholar, a biblical scholar, but, maybe I'm an amateur Emily scholar. Maybe I'm an amateur biblical scholar. Certainly, I've studied the Bible for many years now. And I'm not saying I study it every single day, every moment of every day, but a lot of times that's what I'm doing. It really is. So I don't want to discount myself, and I don't want to discount Emily. You just bring Emily out there, and there's a connotation about her. It's the same thing with Jesus. You bring Jesus out there, there's a connotation about him, and people never get beyond, because we're lazy, right? We're lazy, and we just trust what others say about Emily or about Jesus. All right, I'm going to read you two quick poems, okay, from Emily, both talking about Jesus and the resurrection, okay? So, here we go. This is my two favorite poems by Emily. Now, Emily, let me give you a little background. She, in my opinion, a Christian. You read her words, she was one of our critics, I think it was Alan Tate, said, Mary Loomis Todd. See, I was really into Emily about 10 years ago, for about 5 years. I'm surprised I was able to bring that name out of recall, but Mary Loomis Todd was this amazing, talented woman from Washington, D.C., who came up to Amherst, married one of the professors there, and she was the most gifted woman in the community. She's tremendous. She ends up having an affair with Emily's brother, Austin, and that's another story. But she ends up editing all Emily's poems, and it wasn't for Mabel Loomis Todd, we really wouldn't have Emily as we know her out there. She really took a long time and did a great job, and we're thankful for Mary Loomis Todd and her great work, as well as Lavina, Emily's sister, a younger sister. She helped out as well. So let's talk. What was my point? Mabel Loomis Todd, beautiful woman, by the way, the most strikingly beautiful woman in Amherst, I'm sure, for 100 years. She said that Emily spoke with the Bible at her fingertips. Okay, so that was, I mean, as I discovered Emily, I went, into Emily. I had a preconceived notion of her like everybody else. And even I'm a Christian, and nobody even told me that she was a Christian writer at all. But she wrote some of the most amazing poems. She wrote an economy of words, and as one of her critics says, she was a genius on multiple levels in many different fields. If you're a genius in one field, that's great. But she, in her writing about, different subjects, she's just a genius. Joy, love, eternity, the Bible, nature, of course, relationships. This woman was astounding and never gets the credit. People who do love Emily, though, they really love her and they recognize it. And that's why Emily is who she is today, as remembered so highly. There's a great museum out in Amherst, Mass., and I get out there every couple of years. Although the last time was 2008. Excuse me. It's tea. So anyway, we got two poems I want to share with you real quick in a moment or two. And just to give you a little further feel for Emily. Emily was somebody who read the dictionary a lot. I don't know many people, but she was very conversant with Shakespeare and the Bible, so tremendous versatility this woman had. Books were how she explored the world. Everybody picks on Emily, right? That's what everybody, poor Emily, she never got married, right? I mean, she lived, as one of her critics said, one of the most fulfilling life in the whole continent. I think that was Alan Tate who wrote that. So without any further ado, the first poem is called, let's see, I was going to go with this one. Safe in Alabaster Chambers. Okay, it's about 8 lines. Typical Emily, short but sweet and powerful, okay? Now, I'm going to just read it and then maybe we'll go through it. Safe in alabaster chambers, untouched by morning and untouched by noon, lie the meek members of the resurrection, rafter of satin and roof of stone. Grand go the years in the crescents above them, worlds scoop their arcs and firmaments row. Diadems drop and dodges surrender, soundless as dots on a disk of snow. Wow, that was awesome. It's just the 8 lines. She conquers the whole universe like no other. So these people are safe in their chambers, in these coffins. Coffins, everybody's getting cremated these days. In fact, there's a huge coffin company in Boston that just went all up in flames. I knew a guy who worked there. He told me they have gold coffins, they have silver coffins, they have all this real great wood, and people weren't buying. So I'm not saying it was an inside job. He worked there a long time ago, but all right. So first line, safe in alabaster's chambers. So they're safe in alabaster's chambers, lie untouched by morning and untouched by noon, lie the meek members of the resurrection. So there's the word resurrection. Now, we know absent from the body, present with the Lord, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. Um, Rafter of satin and roof of stone. Grand go the years, all is hubbub in the world, right? In the crescents above them, worlds scoop their arcs, right? And firmaments row. What imagery? The heavens, firmaments. Diadems drop, kingdoms, and dodges surrender. The dodges were, I think, an Italian dynasty. Surrender soundless as dots on a disc of snow. Wow, all this stuff that goes down. I think of Psalm 2, where, the kingdoms. Let me pull that up. It's about the kings versus God, basically. Why do the nations conspire and the people plot in vain? The kings of the earth rise up and the rulers band against the Lord together, against his anointed one. This is Psalm 2, and we've all read it probably. Let us break their chains, although, I never read it until I was in my 30s probably. They say, let us break their chains and throw off their shackles. The one enthroned in heaven laughs. The Lord scoffs at them all. He rebukes them in his anger, and he terrifies them in his wrath. All right, so that kind of gave me, when she was talking about diadems drop and dodges surrender, soundless as dots on a disc of snow. So here's the resurrection, right? The people in the resurrection, in the final resurrection, there's a bodily resurrection, right? Let's look at that. We're going to get into this a little bit. Bodily resurrection of every. We'll see if this comes up. Will all people be resurrected or just believers? All right, they say it's only those who believe in Christ will experience the resurrections of their bodies. All people will be raised physically from the dead on the last day. The difference is that the Christians will be raised to everlasting glory, and those who will not trust in Christ will be raised to judgment. Okay. See if I can. All right, so you can do a study. I'm going to do a study. I know that was one of my things I want to do later on, is do a study on this and share what I find. I mean, I'm learning as I go, obviously, but I have these ideas, and I know they're based in truth. But I do learn. All right, so let's go with the next poem, which is right over here. And it's one of my favorite poems. It's a conversation between Emily and Jesus. It's only about 8 lines. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 lines. So Emily's responding to Jesus saying, unto me, I do not know you. Where may be your house? Wow, that is great. What a way to start a conversation. It assumes the question, right? Come unto me, all you are weary, right? So then, that's Matthew 11, and then Jesus speaks, quote unquote, I am Jesus, late of Judea, now of paradise. And then she replies, rejoins him, wagons have you to convey me? This is far from thence. And then Jesus says, arms of mine, a sufficient phaeton, trust omnipotence. Now they go back and forth. She says, I am spotted. He says, I am pardoned. She says, I am small. He says, the least is esteemed in heaven the chiefest. Occupy my house. A command. End of poem. That's the poem, Unto Me, I Do Not Know You, by Emily Dickinson. So there's something for you today, all right, to chew on and think about, okay? And we're going to get into the resurrection. Are we all resurrected? Are we resurrected to glory or damnation? Is the resurrection the same for everybody? That's going to be one of my next videos. So stay tuned for that. And hit the subscribe button and hit the notifications bell, and you'll get your I'll send you that you'll be notified when I post again. I've been doing it like just about every day. So, and we got about 15 days left towards Easter, Good Friday. So 2 weeks. Good Friday's a full moon, and we'll see what happens, right? Okay, that's all I got for you today. We'll talk to you next time.